Separation of powers. Suggestion: protect military medals. When a handful of concerned citizens in Colorado learned that some people were faking military medals they'd never earned, they decided to do something about it. They went to their congressional representative and made a suggestion. They wanted him to introduce a bill in Congress making it illegal to lie about military medals. After learning more about the problem, the representative agreed. Writing the bill, Representative John Salazar of Colorado drafted a bill called the Stolen Valor Act that would penalize people who falsely claim to be decorated military veterans. The bill said lies about military medals, quote, damage the reputation and meaning of those medals. Under the bill, anyone who lied about receiving one of these medals could be fined, imprisoned not more than 6 months, or both. Representative Salazar introduced the Stolen Valor Act to the House of Representatives in July 2005. A few months later, a similar bill was introduced in the Senate by Senator Kent Conrad of North Dakota. Senator Conrad's bill passed the Senate in September 2006. It was sent to the House of Representatives, which passed the bill in December. Approved. The bill was then sent to the President for approval. President George W. Bush signed the Stolen Valor Act into law on December 20th, 2006. New law fails inspection. 2 years later, California resident Xavier Alvarez told everyone at a public meeting, "I'm a retired Marine of 25 years. I retired in the year 2001. Back in 1987, I was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. I got wounded many times by the same guy." These were all lies. Alvarez was charged with a crime under the Stolen Valor Act. In court, Alvarez argued that his lies were protected by the First Amendment right to free speech. His case eventually went all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court agreed with Alvarez, saying, "One of the costs of the First Amendment is that it protects speech we detest as well as speech we embrace." The court said that unless these lies are used to commit fraud or for financial gain, they are protected by the First Amendment. Back to the bill writers. In response, a new version of the act was drafted. On January 15, 2013, Congressman Joe Heck of Nevada introduced a bill making it a crime to receive any tangible benefit from lying about receiving a military medal. The revised Stolen Valor Act passed both the House of Representatives and the Senate in May 2013. Finally, on June 2, 2013, President Barack Obama signed the new bill into law. All right, let's make our way through our review activities. Number 1, ideas for laws. The president sets the agenda for laws that are important. The president can also think of ideas for laws. Who else can suggest ideas for laws? Check all that you think are correct. Circle the group that suggested the Stolen Valor Act. So let's go through what we're looking to do here. So if I think about this one, well, definitely the president is someone who can recommend. I mean, it's in the question. So yeah, I would put a check mark on there for the president. So you also have to think lawmakers, Supreme Court justices, comic book superheroes, dogs, citizens, organizations interested in a cause who can come up with the ideas for a laws. Menu writers. In real life, there are 2 groups of menu writers. Who are they? So I want you to think about what 2 groups are menu writers. If you go back into the reading, you'll see where we talked about the individuals who proposed these laws. There's 2 different organizations. One has a relatively short name, one has a pretty long name that is made up of 3 words if you count "of" in the middle. And final say. The menu writers had to rewrite the Stolen Valor Act even though the lead chef approved it. Who has the final say about whether a law can stand? Is it the president who can sign or veto a bill, who can veto a bill or sign it into law? That would be the equivalent of the lead chefs. The Supreme Court, who can decide whether a law is constitutional, so that would be like our nutrition inspectors. And Congress, who can override the president's veto, that would be our menu writers. So just think about that from the lesson the other day. Inspection time. Do you think the Supreme Court automatically inspects all bills that are signed into law? I'm going to go ahead and spoil this one for you. That is a big old no. Otherwise, we wouldn't have to do the rest of this activity. So what has to happen first? Check all the things that you think could lead the court to look at whether a law is constitutional. Would it be if someone is punished under the law, someone loses money because of the law, someone doesn't like the law, someone loses property because of the law, someone is harmed in some way because of the law, or someone who has a friend who is harmed because of the law. Even if something inappropriate happens, the court still won't look at a law unless the person does one of these. Asks the court pretty please, writes a letter to the court explaining how the law caused them harm, brings a case in trial court and works their way up to the court system, or sends chocolates to the justices. And our last one, separation of powers. Write the letter of each power in the space where it belongs on the diagram. Overlapping parts of the diagram are where shared powers go. So think about where these go based on our simulation. So let's take a look at our first one. A, signs bills into law. So I know Congress writes the bills, I know Supreme Court evaluates them, but the group that actually signs them into laws, not group, person, would be the president. So tell me where writes laws, vetoes bills, and returns them to Congress, hears disputes about laws, is part of the United States government, decides whether laws are constitutional, and can override a veto with a large scope. Try to think where they go. Obviously, this one here, this box right here would be something that the President and Congress have in common. Here would be where Congress and the Supreme Court have it in common. Here's where the President and Supreme Court would have it in common. And right here in the middle, that's where all of them have in common. And after you do that, explain how the separation of powers stops one branch from becoming too powerful. So just go back and think about the different powers that we have. How does that stop one branch from becoming too powerful? All right, let's make sure you're getting this done. Thank you for watching this far, and do your best and get started.